Welcome back to our series all about helping you build some of the basic design skills as a stationery designer. Last week, we talked all about typography and understanding the basics of different font styles and how to identify font styles that align with your signature style as a designer. Today, we are jumping over into color, and this lesson is really so fun and important, right? Because both font and colors are such integral parts of our work as designers. And so we need to make sure that we understand how to use color in a way that serves our design, that allows our work to stand out and to really attract our dream clients. So we are going to start with some of the basics of understanding color codes and understanding the different ways to refer to color in graphic design. We're going to break down RGB versus CMYK versus Pantone, and then we're going to jump into Adobe for a bit so that I can show you how to create a custom color palette in your Adobe platform. So let's go ahead and get started with a little bit of vocabulary. First things first, let's talk about RGB. So an RGB color code refers to red, green, and blue mixed together. And so this is an additive color mixing model, which essentially means that the more color you add, the lighter the color becomes, okay? RGB color codes are to be used when you are doing a digital design. So this is not the best system if you are trying to create printed materials. And basically what I mean here is that if you are using RGB colors when you are designing, and if you are adjusting the colors using the RGB model, your print version of your design is not going to look the same as what you created on your screen. And I will mention that anything that goes from a screen to print is going to look slightly different. And so color matching can be a challenge as a stationer. It can be something that we learn a little bit through trial and error. However, having an understanding of the different models that are best suited for print will set you up for success from the beginning. So RGB is great if you're designing for your website or if you're designing something that is just going to remain digital. But anything that's being designed for print, you should be using the CMYK color mixing model. This is a subtractive color mixing model, which means that the more color that you add, the darker the color becomes, okay? And so this is going to mix cyan, magenta, yellow, and black. And so CMY, and then the K stands for key, which refers to black, okay? It is best for print design. So anytime we are designing in Adobe where we intend to print this graphic and create an invitation suite or a printed piece, we want to be using CMYK. And then finally, let's talk about Pantone. So Pantone is a private company that created something called the Pantone Matching System, also known as PMS. They have a series of swatch books that can be purchased and used to easily refer to specific colors between different shops and designers. And so when printers are creating your materials, so you send them a file and they are printing it, you can send them a Pantone color and they can use a swatch book to color match and ensure that the printed piece matches that exact swatch because all of the swatch books are the same. And so PMS, the Pantone matching system, is essential specifically for letterpress, but there are also many print shops who will color match to a Pantone for digital print as well. If you are looking for a print shop that you want to partner with, I highly recommend that you look into my VIP vendor guide. My vendor guide shares with you all of my print shops, including several who will do color matching and help make this process so much less stressful for you. So on the right here, we have a Pantone swatch. And then on the left, I have pulled the RGB, hex code, and CMYK codes based on that Pantone swatch. All of this is available through the Pantone website as well. So I could pull up this swatch and easily find the other codes. So if I wanted to use this for digital printing and I wanted to take this swatch and pull it into Adobe, I can grab that CMYK code 23600 and easily pull that over. Okay. I want to also acknowledge what a hex code is because you've probably heard this a lot, especially if you've built a website or you're using Canva. A hex code is basically another form of the RGB code. And so a hex code is just a short, kind of quick version that you can copy and paste, but it is very similar to the RGB style. It is best for digital designs only. Okay, so now we are here in Adobe, and I'm just going to use the same file that I used in our last session where we talked about typography to show you some different ways to play with color. So first things first, I want to highlight my swatches panel over here on the left. I have built these swatches by manually creating these swatches and saving them into my swatches panel. And you can do that too. So basically all you have to do this is go into your swatches panel and click this little plus sign at the bottom. When you hover over it, it says new swatch. When you do that, it's going to automatically populate it. Right now, it automatically populated to 100% cyan. So I'm going to double click that. And now it's going to pull up this window where I can adjust this and I can name the swatch itself. So if I want to name it my own name, I'm going to unselect name with color value. And then I could put in, let's just name it Nantucket Breeze. So now I'm going to jump back over here and grab this code 23600. So I'm going to go 23600. And now this is a Nantucket Breeze CMYK swatch. So if I wanted to go ahead and make my text color this color, I'm going to highlight it and then select the swatch. Then I'm going to go up here, and these two T's, the boxes up here that have a T in them, one represents the fill color and one represents the stroke color. And so I need to switch that from fill to stroke in order to make the stroke the same color. So now that I've done both, you can see here that both are this Nantucket Breeze color. Now, I'm going to be fully honest with you. I would probably not print this light of a color on paper for a stationery design, especially when you start to see some of these lighter, softer, smaller boxes of text. It can be hard to read a color this light. So I want to show you a quick and easy way to darken this. So I'm going to go ahead and just duplicate this swatch so that I have a fresh one to work with. And I'm going to say Nantucket Breeze Darker. And remember, with the CMYK model, when we add color, it makes the swatch darker. So if I want to make this darker, I'm going to try to make it proportional because I want it to be in the same color family. So I'm just going to go ahead and double it. I'm going to make this 46 and I'm going to make this 12. And that is essentially just going to darken this color to be the same color family, but a darker version of it. Okay, so now you can kind of see what this would look like if we went with just this darker version of the Nantucket Breeze. Personally, I think this is a little bit too vibrant for me, so I might go ahead and take it down a little bit, maybe down into this range and soften that up a little bit. So that is an example of how to pull a color into Adobe and save it here. You can also create Creative Cloud libraries with palettes. If you are a student in one of my courses, we include Creative Cloud libraries with all of these color palettes that you can play with in your designs. Okay, so today's lesson really was intended to just be an introduction to color codes, helping you understand RGB versus CMYK versus Pantone, and helping you understand how to then create color swatches in Adobe using those color codes. So I hope that this was helpful for you. This is only the beginning of us talking about color here. We have so much to explore in terms of how to use color to elevate your designs. But I want to encourage you, if you have not already, to go ahead and take my new quiz about your signature design style as a stationer. This quiz is going to ask you some questions about what you're drawn to, what different styles you like, the different types of clients that you're hoping to work with, and all of that. And it's going to give you a result of what your design style should be. And then it's going to go a step further, and I'm going to actually help you understand how to design based on your signature style. I'm going to give you tips and tricks and font styles and colors and textures and different ways to actually create that signature style for your business. So I'm so excited for you to take this quiz. After you take it, please jump to the comments of this video. Let me know what your result was. I can't wait to see all the different types of styles of stationers that we have in this community. Thank you for being here, and make sure that you come back next week as we continue learning about style and design in stationery.